Hi, I'm Nick with HVACB. I'm going to show you how to attach flex ducts to your boot. Alright, so first we're going to cut open the flex duct. So I'm just going to cut open this bag here. And I'm going to grab my flex duct. Just going to kind of toss the bag, get it extended. You don't want it scrunched up. That can reduce your airflow. So you want to make sure it's fully stretched out. So now I'm going to roll back the silver a little bit to get myself a nice long section of the black liner. So I'm just going to kind of fold that in on itself, give it a clean look. Alright, so now that we got a good few inches of the black liner exposed, I'm going to get this, I'm going to grab my boot. I'm just going to slide this over this little collar right here. Alrighty, so now that I've got that black liner slid over that collar, I'm going to get my Panduit strap. Put it around it, pull it hand tight at first. You want to make sure it's all the way around that black liner and not only on the metal. You want to make sure it's holding that black liner on that collar. So I'm just going to pull it hand tight at first. Now I'm going to get this tool. It's strap gun. There's a bunch of different names for it. All this does is basically tighten it and allows you to cut it flush. So I'm going to squeeze that tight. Now I'm going to cut it. And now we have the black liner attached to this boot. So that's pretty strong on there. That ain't coming off. So now we're going to have to insulate this metal or else it'll sweat. So what I like to do is I like to cut a little notch right there to give me some room to work with. So now I'm going to cut that little line that I was talking about, a little notch. Just to give me some room. You can even cut it a little bigger if you need to. So now I'm able to pull that insulation all the way over that metal. So now what I like to do is kind of fold this up just a hair. So we got spray adhesive here. This will help the tape stick to it and ensure that it doesn't fall off over the years. Now I'm going to get some pieces of tape, roughly that width, just ready. There. So now that I got that ready, I'm going to lift this up, I'm going to get it flush, and I'm going to put the tape on after I put spray glue on. So I'm going to let that dry just a little bit. That way I get a good seal and that way it's not too wet and that tape doesn't slide off. Alrighty, so now that that's dried up a little bit, I'm going to position my tape to where I can get it on the flex duct, the insulation, and the metal. I'm going to push it tight. So I'm going to push it down with my hand. Now I'm going to get a squeegee, and I'm going to squeegee it. That way it guarantees there's no air bubbles underneath that tape, and that way it sticks nice and good to that metal and that insulation. So now, I like to work around the sides first. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. Make sure you got fiberglass under there. That way your boot's not just got silver wrap over it. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to bend this one back down and bend this one up a little bit. And so right here, you can see I've got it nice and tight to this flange. So I'm going to spray it again. I'm going to let that dry just a hair. And same thing, I'm going to line up my tape to where it gets on the metal and the insulation. All right, so once again, now I've got it pushed down with my hand, I'm going to get my squeegee. I'm going to squeegee it down, make sure it's got a good connection, good contact with the metal and the insulation. Get all the air pockets out under there between the tape and the material it's sticking to. Now I'm going to fold this back down. And so now I'm going to do the same thing to this other side, but I just showed you that, so I'm not going to show you this one. I'm going to make you watch that. I'm just going to go ahead and do it, and then I'll teach you how to insulate this side with the gap. All right, so now I got all three sides done. Now I got this back side where I cut that notch to help me get the insulation over. So this is bare metal, so I've got to insulate this. So I'm going to cut a little triangle of just some spare insulation from some scrap flex duct or whatever. And what you want to do is just kind of get it positioned, make sure it'll be the right size to cover up all the metal, which this is. So to help it stay, I'm just going to put a little bit of spray glue down. This will just help it stay in place while I get my silver liner here for the tape to stick to, because if you try to tape the fiberglass, it's not going to stick. So I'm going to get this. I'm actually going to go ahead and bend up my little flap here just to make my life easier. So now that I've got that positioned to where it will cover all of the bare metal, I'm going to get my silver, make sure it'll fit. Doesn't have to be perfect, you just want it enough to where tape will stick. So I'm just going to find the best way to do that. And now I'm going to just lift it, put a little bit of spray glue, just to get it to stay there for me. So now I'm going to get my tape ready again. This one I want it to be longer than the width of the boot because I want it to wrap around to these other sides so it'll stick good. So I'm going to make it a little longer on each side. Now I'm going to spray glue a little bit on the sides too, so I'm going to wrap it all the way around. I'm going to let that dry just a little bit. Alright, so once that's dried off a little bit, I'm going to put my tape on, make sure it's tight, not loose. And so now we've still got some exposed fiberglass here, just from where we patched it. So I'm going to get some spray glue here. I'm going to put a little line here and here to cover that triangle. That way over time it doesn't tear up and kind of start falling out. Alright, so now that that spray glue's dried up a little bit, I'm going to do the same thing I've been doing. I'm just going to tape any exposed cuts in the insulation or any exposed fiberglass. So I'm just going to put a piece there, kind of push it down with my hand. I'm going to squeegee it all. If it doesn't like to stick, just put a little dab of spray glue. And that'll hold right there. So now I've got the insulation covered, I've got no bare metal showing. So I'm going to get a little one wide piece, one single width of the tape, just to get it to sit tight to this flange. Alrighty, so now that it's fully wrapped, I'm going to go around. I'm just going to hit these corners with one piece of tape, just to, you don't have to do it, but I like to do it just to keep it from falling off over time, and to just ensure that it is fully insulated. All right, so now that we're done taping, insulating, just to kind of, once again, keep stress off that silver liner, keep stress off the tape, we're gonna put another Panduit strap around the collar where we attach the black liner. But this time it's gonna go around the silver and the insulation, just to keep the stress off of it when it's getting moved around, when the boot's getting hung. So I'm gonna make sure it's on that collar and not pinching our flex duct. Once again, I'm gonna hand tighten it, and then I'm gonna get the strap gun. I'm gonna crank it down and then cut it. And so now we have a fully wrapped and insulated boot. This will be good to put our boot rails on and hang it up in the ceiling. Thank you for watching. Once again, this is Nick with HVACB. This is the process on how to properly wrap and insulate a boot.
Thank you guys again for taking the time to listen in today. Don't forget to like and subscribe below for future videos. We really encourage our homeowners to learn about the HVAC industry. So thank you again for watching, and we'll see you next time.